Kevin McCarthy, the Republican minority leader in the House, and they actually had a conference call about this a couple of days ago, and they were kind of laying the land as to how this is gonna happen, how it was gonna roll out, et cetera, et cetera. And I think this is the perfect spot on messaging. Now, hold up, because I do have some friends of the bar brawling variety where it concerns politics. And I say this as the former valedictorian of political bar brawling, that I know that they want people, I know that some want Republicans to be super aggressive. And I know that they want them to be, it's fire and brimstone and, all of that. But for the first time, I think that this is the right tone. And let me explain why. How many of you out there are more concerned about duking it out with, because politically and the political jockeying over your increased rent or mortgage? How many people of you are more interested in seeing, and granted, this could happen later on down the road, Republicans, rhetorically beat Democrats over the head with their own policies? Or would you just like to have the economy stabilized right now, like this second? You know what I mean? There's a time for fighting and a time for pushing towards stability. And when I look at the state of the economy, yesterday was ridiculous. It's been unstable. People are losing money. I'm not even everyone who is in my family that's on Facebook and they're older than 60. Oh my gosh. I went and I looked at it's a second cousin, but we're sidebar. We're such a big family. Like other people, basically a second cousin's like a first cousin. You know what I mean? It's like one of them things. But then you call them your aunt because they're older than you. It's just weird. So anyway, not really an aunt, but we look at her like that, was talking on Facebook about how much her 401k had taken a massive hit, and she's very nervous, and oh my gosh, everybody's in the comments, all the grown folks in the family in the comments. Oh my gosh. And the crazy thing is that some of them are Democrats. Granted, Democrat, not socialist, but they all wanted normalcy. That's what I hear from all of you, because I get your all's emails. I can't respond to everything, and I try to read as much as I can that comes in, but I'm, limited. But everybody wants a sense of normalcy. And it reminded me of this. One of my favorite movies, I'm going to bring the tugboat to shore, so bear with me. One of my favorite movies is Magnificent Seven, the original and also the remake starring Denzel Washington, because I really like how Antoine Fuqua approaches action films, and it's a whole other sidebar. But there was her name is Haley Bennett, and she plays Emma Cullen in the new remake of Magnificent Seven. And there's one particular scene. Her husband has just been killed by the bad guys that are moving in, trying to take their land. She goes with her brother to town, and she comes across Denzel Washington, who's well known as a butt kicker. And he's dealing with some horse trading, all this stuff. And she hands him a bag of coins. And she's like, please help us. It's everything we have. And he's like, well, I've been paid a lot for my work before, but I've never been paid everything somebody has. And she's like, please take it. She was explaining that, her husband had been killed in broad daylight, in the middle of the church. And he's like, so you're looking for revenge? And she says, no, I'm looking for righteousness, as should we all. But I'll take revenge. And I think that's kind of where everybody is right now. I think everybody across the country is at the spot where we want some, and I'm using these words interchangeably with, it's just some stability. You want to know that you can count on next year. You want to know that you can count on being able to meet your financial obligations. You want to be able to relax at night after your kids go to bed, instead of wringing your hands and allowing the stress to show because you didn't want to freak them out. That's what people want. They want a sense of normalcy. And I think going over the top, there is a time for that. Don't mistake me. And that's my favorite part, by the way. There's a time for that for sure. But what was needed was the tone and the detailed explanation that was given this morning. And I like the way that it was laid out. Rarely am I this effusive in praise concerning Republican moves. I mean, I give credit where due because I normally don't think that they hit the right tone, or I think that their messaging's off. And I try not to be so overly critical that I don't leave room for constructive response. But I thought this was well done because they had McCarthy go out. You had everybody sitting there. You had Burgess Owens. You had Marjorie Taylor Greene. You had everybody. All these Republican members of the House sitting there in a town hall roundtable type forum with regular average everyday people interspersed. They're sitting there and they're literally going bit by bit and explaining what they're going to do in order to stabilize the ship. The audio that we played coming in was just one part of it. That's also one of my favorite parts. I was very pleased to hear this. They got into, not only did they get into the IRS and the expense that's going to cost, because it is taxation. You're not going to sit here and tell people that we're hiring 87,000 additional agents, but your taxes aren't going up. They're just providing better service. They have the agents to provide the better service now. They want to get more. Audio soundbite 17. This is a great soundbite. Representative Brad Winstrup he's from Ohio. And listen to what he said when the discussion was on immigration.
The cancer that is upon our society today from the fentanyl. And let's face it, where is it coming from? It's coming from across our borders. And Tony did a great job of really summarizing what is taking place. And I'm from Ohio. And believe me, we're a border town too, just like you are here today.
He is a border town. They all discussed all of this. Everybody was bringing up their concerns. They were answering questions. I thought it was rolled out very well. Now, the plan is called the Commitment to America. And I had one friend that was saying that I would rather it be sticking the boot up the Democrats' backside. And I'm like, this isn't about them, though. And this is the big point. This isn't about Democrats. This isn't about hammering them over the head with their bad policies. We all see it. It's reflected in the polls that I share with you every single day. I mean, the guy in the White House has one of the lowest approval ratings I think I've ever seen. I wasn't alive during Carter, but I would imagine if I were that it would match. It's horrible.